Pardon-moi, but I am not finished discussing the spectacle that was Charlie Kirk's memorial service last Sunday. I meant to get this video up sooner, but I was a bit under the weather the day after, I don't know, connected to what I experienced. I don't know. Anyway, my name is Suri Crow. You're watching the MeidasTouch Network. All right, so I actually did watch the entire 7-8 hour spectacle of the righteous gemstones, or whatever the flip that was. That went down in Glendale, Arizona, not all at once, because my Lord, I took breaks, but I couldn't not look. I have spent years in the evangelical Christian world, and I was pretty floored at what I was witnessing. I think there was like sort of a breakaway moment for me. I mean, I left my mega church after the last election, but to see just the abject hypocrisy of Christian artists performing up on stage at what really looked like a white nationalist Nazi rally. Some of these artists are artists I have had in my, music library. I've seen them in person perform. So I was just like, what are you doing? It was like a moment of just total like cognitive like dissonance for me. I was like, what is happening? And then, to the heart of the matter, because what you saw, if you watched it too, had nothing to do with true Christianity or Jesus, but really total blasphemy. When you hear "do not take the Lord's name in vain," what that is referring to is what we saw happening in Arizona on Sunday at the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, and good luck. God be with you. Thank you.
What did I just watch?
Could I ask Erica, please come out? Erica, please come out. Thank you.
Trump saying, "God be with you." I mean, please, he has no relationship with God. I mean, normally I would be told, well, you don't know what his heart is. Yes, I do. Yes, because out of the heart, we see the fruit, and Trump's fruit is vile and rotten and dirty. He doesn't mean it. Those are just words to him. The man has never cracked open a Bible in his life unless it was a $60 Trump version to sign his autograph for a cult member who was paying for a Trump version Bible. And then hugging her in that weird way with its mouth and dancing was just completely cringe and gross. And if you haven't already heard by now, Stephen Miller, who's one of the most powerful men in Washington right now, seriously, gave this super uplifting speech to the 100,000 people or so packed in the stadium.
We are the storm, and our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing.
So that was a straight up call to white supremacist dominance. Stephen Miller is a self-hating Jew who was so deeply entrenched in his Nazism that he pretty much plagiarized a speech from one of Hitler's top lieutenants, a man by the name of Joseph Goebbels. And when he's saying defeat the darkness, that light will overcome the darkness, he's referring to white people defeating brown-skinned people. That's what he's talking about. When he's hearkening back to Athens and Rome, he's referring back to the Greco-Roman Empire, the Aryan dominance of white Aryan superiority. That's what he means. When you hear them talk about their lineage, that is what white supremacists are referring to. And he's speaking about white power. So it was just all out in the open. I'm certain that a lot of people missed it, but that's what that speech, The Storm, is about. And Stephen Miller just blatantly put it all out there. White people are better than everybody else. And we're going to war against anyone who's not part of our lineage. Okay. Now, Jesus was a brown-skinned man from the Middle East who came from an immigrant family. And that is everything that MAGA is against. They're throwing all the brown people out of this country right now. I mean, Stephen Miller is the chief architect of that. Then we get to more of this Third Reich hate with Benny Johnson's speech.
Apostle Paul describes how God establishes the rulers of the nations. In the audience right now, there are rulers of our land. Represented right here is the State Department, the Department of War, the Department of Justice, the Chief Executive. God has instituted them. God has given them power over our nation and our land. God saved our president, President Trump, from an assassin's bullet for this moment. And what does the Apostle Paul in Romans say about a godly leadership? He says that rulers wield the sword for the protection of good men and for the terror of evil men. May we pray that our rulers here, rightfully instituted and given power by our God, wield the sword for the terror of evil men in our nation, in Charlie's memory.
Just the violence of everything they quote or whatever from the Bible. It's twisting of the Christian faith. I'll just tell you that from somebody who has studied the Bible and who has had a deep faith in God. But I'll tell you what, it's been tested in these times of MAGA. He's putting out a war cry against his fellow Americans, for God's sakes. He's calling for violence, and the crowd of MAGA cultists goes wild. They're cheering. Yes! Yay! Yes, der Führer. Yes, der Führer. It's crazy. Benny Johnson, who, by the way, is a paid Putin propagandist. Putin, a murderous dictator, has Benny Johnson on his payroll. And that's what I mean by the utter blasphemy. And, you know, Benny Johnson's like, my beautiful wife and all my kids. I think he has 5 and this and that and the other. There have been multiple reports over years on social media that Benny Johnson is a deeply closeted gay man, right? Who hate rages by day at the LGBTQIA community, but then outs himself accidentally with posts like this. If you see this, it shows what his search history is all about. If you take a look at that. And then, you know, just rages against marginalized communities. And there were several reports on social media of Grindr outages or extreme spikes in usage at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale. Grindr itself did not report an outage, but Down Detector, which is a crowdsourced platform, did. They said people were having a hard time, you know, slow, like website usage on Grindr. And here's a local guy who showed us just how slammed Grindr was during the Charlie Kirk memorial service at the State Farm Stadium.
Well, ask and you shall receive, sort of. Because this is the Cardinal Stadium at 10 o'clock on the not popular app listed in the comments, but the other big popular app that us guys use. And in the interest of TikTok not taking this video down, I have done them the service of blacking everyone out. A lot of people at the Cardinal Stadium for this shit. A little suspicious.
Pretty busy during the white evangelical power meetup where power bottoms were looking for tops. And the comments did not disappoint behind this guy's TikTok. People were saying, please, you should have posted the faces, because he blacked out all of the profiles on Grindr. And then all the men in the bathroom during Erica's speech has me wrecked. All the boys going to the men's room during Erica's, emotional speech. And then this person says, everybody don't block their faces. I assure you, he's absolutely not blocking out their faces. That's right. Those aren't their faces in their profile pics. You know what I mean? Pics rhymes with, I'm going to the bathroom, sweetie. Again? Shouldn't have ordered the Charlie Kirk at Starbucks earlier. This one took me out. You can see all these closeted Republican men running to the bathroom to hook up. And, their beard wives are like, oh, you're going to pee again? Yeah. That venti honey that I had. Yeah, the venti. Right. Anyway, just the blatant hypocrisy, as I pointed out in a video that I did a couple weeks ago, on these closeted Republicans. That vote and legislate and speak against the LGBTQIA community, but then at night, raving at gay bars and so forth. And, you can be a power bottom for Jesus, because Jesus didn't say anything about same-sex relationships being wrong. No, there's not one word in the Bible in the gospel about being in a same-sex relationship if you're an adult. I always want to point that out, because we are in the era of Epstein, and child molestation is disgusting and vile, and I'm certain that God has a special place for people who do that. But these hypocrites married to their beard wives, J.D. Vance, who, openly loves to rock a smoky eye, and who has in his past dressed up in drag, they're making life miserable for the rest of us. It's not, and I want to make this clear, I am not saying anything is wrong with being a part of the queer community. I am a huge ally. Okay. Huge. What I'm saying is you rage hate and rage bait against that community, but in your secret life, that's who you are. Blaming Kirk's murder on the trans community when there's no evidence of that whatsoever. And then lastly, I had to mention this. Charlie and Erica Kirk went on about how a woman's place is in the home. Charlie Kirk, one of the last things he said before he passed away was how Taylor Swift now needed to submit to her husband, change her name, and I guess, I don't know, be some kind of trad wife. And, that's a woman's place, is to be in the home, raising the babies. That's what we're supposed to do. Well, Erica Kirk at age 36 now has 2 toddlers. So she's got 2 babies, but she was just named CEO of Turning Point USA, which I believe brought in $100 million last year. So it's a mega multi-million-dollar corporation. She has her own clothing line, her own podcast, and apparently multiple degrees, which good for her. But that's not what they're preaching at Turning Point USA. It's just, like I said, blatant hypocrisy. Once again, the conservative movement rules for thee, but not for me. No, you can't do that, but I sure can. Same way that they're treating free speech now. Oh, it's okay for them to have freedom of speech, but nobody on the left can. They're just repulsive hypocrites. These people lie as they breathe. And furthermore, why is this woman, Erica Kirk, who's reportedly worth $12 million on the receiving end of multiple donation campaigns that have raised, the last I checked as of this recording, more than $8 million. She doesn't need she's a multimillionaire. Why are people donating millions of dollars to her? But that's what's happening. Tucker Carlson started one of them and said, let's raise money for Erica Kirk and her children. Well, Erica Kirk is not a homeless, destitute, single mom. She's a mega millionaire who now heads a mega millionaire corporation. And it's just, this is the thing about the right-wing MAGA movement. People in America cannot afford their homes right now. They can't find places to live that are affordable. They're struggling for groceries, finding childcare. Many people can't afford to have a car to get to work. and they're sending money to millionaires. It's the same stupid mentality of them sending Donald Trump, a billionaire, money. He's got his own private jet. Now he has two. It's just grift, grift, grift. That's all I ever see. And this twisted grifting mentality. And the MAGA heads are just like, yes, I will take all of my savings and give it to you, Donald Trump or Erica Kirk. And I'm not disparaging at all the horrific way that she lost her husband at all. It was horrible, horrible. I denounce that and condemn it in the worst way. I'm still disturbed by what I saw in that video. It's awful. But the whole act here of this poor, helpless mom, bullshit on that. Erica Kirk is, she's quite savvy and calculating, and she's already landed on her feet quite ably. So that's all I got. I just thought the whole thing was really just disturbing to watch. And I say that as a woman who has had a deep faith in many years. But when you look at that, no wonder so many people are like, no thanks to the Jesus people. All right, I'll see you back here soon. In the meantime, stay fierce and peace.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.